Hello everyone, good afternoon, welcome to the United Stand. Looking at the press conference from today, a very, very short press conference. Watching that, it was like, okay, is that it? Is that it? To be honest, looking at it, it was kind of scripted. We knew exactly what was coming. We knew the questions that were going to come. It's pretty much what had happened in the week in terms of the unrest with Maguire. Few subjects touched on in terms of certain players, a bit of injury news, but a lot more information will be coming out later, which kind of says there's not much more to really talk about, and they don't really want to talk about much more. Guys, get your questions in. Let me know what you think about what we touch on. Let's get into the press conference. First of all, lovely pink sweater that Ralph Rangnick was wearing there in his press conference today. Looks fresh, like a lot of the players should be. Let's be honest, we're a lot of them that went on international duty. But looking at it, you got to go, okay, who is ready? No excuses. There's a lot of players that have just not played any football competitively for nearly a month now. That's how crazy it's been. It feels like a lifetime. I actually feel quite happy that we're talking about a game that's happening tomorrow in a press conference rather than anything else. We're just going off snippets, interviews from players. And Ralph started off, first question was the most obvious one. It is hot topic at the moment around the football club, or what the club want you to know and what they want you to talk about. I suppose a bit of good news in Bruno Fernandes' contract extension. We're going to look at it and go, well, what do you expect Ralph to say? He's looking now like a man who, we'll touch on Bruno in it, but when the questions are coming today, one thing I'm noticing with Ralph in his press conferences at the moment is he looks like a man who isn't going to be there. He's not really bothered as much. That's what I'll say. He doesn't really care about certain subjects, and you can see that in his demeanor. You can see that in how he's answering the questions and how he's replying to the journalist in the room. Like when talking about Bruno Fernandes, it's good for him. I've already congratulated him. I've already spoke to him when he got back yesterday from international duty on his new contract, and good for him that he can see his future actually. Looking forward, the next 5 years, he will be at this football club. He will be at this football club. Just the way he's talking, it's like he won't be here, but Bruno is going to be here for a long time in his future, and it's good for him. What else can he really say about that? Not much, because he isn't going to be part of the plans going forward. We already know he's not going to have much in terms of say on what goes forward. The speculation was there about what his job and role will be. It's looking more and more likely that it's not going to be that much simple advisory stuff. So when these press conferences come around, then yeah, it's what it is. He knows he's got 9 games left. He's talking about the Bruno contract there, like he's just looking forward to these 9 games now and hoping that Bruno can carry that form into these remaining games, and Ralph can take this United team to take him as high as he possibly can in the league table now, because that is all that there is to play for. Bruno Fernandes scoring the 2 important goals to take Portugal through. He touched on that. Big moments, big players, hopefully, in the few big games we have got left, because on paper the games are quite big. You look at the Liverpool game, the Chelsea game, or these type of games, you want our big players to step forward. Bruno is a big player for us, and I think Ralph's just bigging that up a little bit there to say, yeah, we need the likes of Bruno when these games come around. And hopefully, because a lot of people have got an opinion on Bruno about him never turning up in the bigger games. Fans and pundits, experts have all said the same thing. Hopefully, we can see that Portugal form from Bruno in the United shirt moving forward from there. And Ralph's obviously hoping in his last 9 games he can finish on a high, and he's going to need the likes of Bruno. He is. He's also going to need the likes of his captain. And the obvious question came up about Harry Maguire. It's got to be It's got to be the most talked about subject all week, barring the boring football that we watched with England, because it never really is exciting, is it? It's nothing to get excited about when international football comes on, especially when it's friendlies. But he was asked about the boos, about Harry Maguire. He didn't even watch the game. So, so that tells you everything you need to know. Ralph admitted that he didn't even watch the England game and didn't know what happened, but he picks up on things that were said afterwards. Like a lot of people, they're not really bothered. It's not an important game. It really isn't. I think Ralph's looking at it, and like I said, this all rolls into what I said at the start, when it's like he's not really bothered anymore. He comes across like, yeah, 9 games to go, not too fussed, and didn't even watch the England game. Why would he? To be honest, there were bigger games going on. It was a nothing week for England, and it's just painful sometimes watching your players go through these games at this stage of the season. I mean, it's not as important for us, but you can imagine being a Liverpool fan right now, a City fan, with all the big games coming up, all the important games, West Ham even, with the Europa League, and your players playing right at the end of March, just before the final furlong of the Premier League season, and what's left to fight for trophy-wise. We just don't have that this season. That's kind of a sign of how crap the season has been. The fact that we're not even bothered about players on international duty right now. You touched on Edinson Cavani as well. We already knew that Cavani was injured. I mean, has he been fit all season? We're not really bothered. We forgot about Cavani. We have. And you could see the journals just scratching around for questions. And when they asked about Harry Maguire, it was like Ralph pretty much condemned it straight away. He said, it's a nothing thing. I've seen Southgate talking about it. You've seen I think Harry Kane said something. And no one was really interested. It was only people that wanted to make a big deal out of Harry Maguire. Like we spoke last night on the fan forum. It's only the people that want to make a big deal out of Harry Maguire and the booing would make a deal out of it. And it's like, what's the name? It's just like social media, that's it. There's nothing much more. A few paper columns, that's it. But who reads a paper anymore when you've got a fan? You know what I mean? It's made big for how someone wants it to look, and that's it. It's just one of them. And looking ahead, it's down to Harry Maguire. I think I said on last night's show that it's all about what Harry Maguire does on the pitch, pretty much like Roy Keane said. A couple of ex-United players really coming in and saying it as it is, like Rooney did with Rashford, like Roy Keane said with Harry Maguire. Pointless writing things and putting things out on social media. It's absolutely pointless, because at the end of the day, the season's pretty much done and dusted. The only way that you can endear yourselves back to the United faithful is by performing on the pitch. It's quite simple. Just perform on the pitch. The fans will turn back. You can answer easily by just playing to your capabilities. And that is the only way that Harry Maguire really will adhere to the fans again. Some, in fact, won't even look at that and go, I still don't think it's good enough. He's still not Manchester United captain material. I think that's going to be key when the new manager comes in. Is Harry Maguire still going to be captain? Is he still going to be playing in the team? Is that an area that we're going to improve? Does the new manager actually give other centre-backs a chance like Lindelof and Bailly? I mean, killer questions all the time. In terms of the booing, I mean, Rangnick did say, look, he doesn't expect Harry Maguire to be booed at Old Trafford. I think the big hurrah has been made about all of this will just roll into the game tomorrow, and he won't be booed. He won't be. I don't think he'll get anywhere near the amount of stick that he's had, just simply by what people have made of this week with Harry Maguire. So really, I just think that it's just going to go past. Harry Maguire has a poor game, then it may start again. But against his old team, Leicester, I think it was Jay who said on the show last night that Harry Maguire simply has to just step forward and play on the pitch, and it's the perfect opportunity. Go out there, fight for your shirt against your old team, have a performance, and give the Boo Boys nothing to go off. Just play football. No need for talking. Do the walking. It's as simple as that. And that's what Harry Maguire needs to do tomorrow. He doesn't expect the fans, like I said, to boo. He's there talking about the Red Army getting behind the team and the captain and stuff like that. And I think that's pretty much what we expected him to say. Again, like I said at the start, Ralph really doesn't really care like he's there at the moment. To me, it doesn't look like it. And honestly, I don't blame him. You can't blame him, can you? Because the season does have that feel about it. Even when he was asked about Paul Pogba and his comments at the start of the window, that was the next question, really, after the Harry Maguire one. He was asked about Paul Pogba's comments right at the start of the international break and what he thought. Can you understand that sentiment in terms of what Pogba was going at, that he feels like he hasn't really taken much from his 5 years at Manchester United? As United fans, we all know Pogba hasn't taken it, but we haven't been given it either. And a couple of trophies in his first season with Jose, brilliant. You thought, kickstart, that was the one. But since then, it has been nothing short of just pure inconsistency. And that's how we came across in that press conference. all I would have hoped for was just give a little bit back to the fans in these next few games before you leave, because we know you're going to leave. You probably end up at Madrid, is my bet. And Ralph just said in that, his actual quote was, "I've got enough to do now to prepare for the team for the next game, and I don't think it makes sense to interpret or just judge what was said in an interview. It doesn't make sense for me. It's only important to judge him and judge him on the pitch." He did touch on Paul Pogba actually in what he said in terms of playing in a few different positions. Obviously, he then went into Cavani being injured, Greenwood now out of the squad completely, Martial going off on loan to Seville, and Pogba having to adapt in a few other positions. And that shows you exactly what you could say Jose, Ole, Carrick, Rangnick, none of them have found an actual position for Paul Pogba. And the fact that he's leaving in the summer is exactly why you get that answer from Ralph Rangnick in what he said there. It's not really important. I don't think we even need to talk about it. And that's that put to bed. That is Paul Pogba. And to be fair, you sort of got to look towards Bruno Fernandes now, players that we know are staying at the club. I don't even think Paul Pogba gets any stick or criticism anymore, because I think every United fan has pretty much accepted that he's out the door, off skis, see you later. And we're seeing the back end of him. A new position that needs filling again in the summer, amongst many others. But you got to look to the players, I think. And Ralph was only too happy. He said he's already spoke with Bruno, a player that is staying here. And that's where you've got to look forward with a football team. You've got to look at it and go, well, he's a player that is the future of Manchester United. And we have to look past that. He's sort of looking past his time as Manchester United manager. And you feel sorry for him because, let's be honest, he's had his critics, Ralph Rangnick, but let's be honest, he has been thrown some right chili dipper scenarios in all of this. He's like just gone into the lucky dip and picked out the yellows and the oranges every single time. He's just had the worst luck as a manager in such a short space of time. You break it down. I mean, this may be my last press conference I cover for Ralph. I may cover one of the others. Not many games to go now, obviously. But you know what? I hope I get the chance to thank him for what he's done, because he has been dealt the worst hand ever. Well, at Manchester United, let's be fair. He's had absolute bombs to deal with. You just look at the transfer window, the Lingard scenario, the Greenwood scenario. Martial and Donny pretty much saying as soon as he walks through the door, I want out of here because of the previous manager, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Yeah, people still want to criticise him. He has literally come in with his football knowledge, tried to get across his message to a team that he expected to be up there, a team that he thought was going to be able to take instruction that haven't. And then with all that I just mentioned on top of that, what do you expect the man to do? What do you expect him to do and deal with that? I mean, I don't think there's any manager on the planet that could handle what Ralph Rangnick's handled any differently. With what's happened before, and like I said, what Ollie had left him with, and then what happened while he was here, how the club have treated him, not even giving him $6 million to go and buy a midfielder. Can you expect his response to be any different? And it's no wonder we're getting the shortest press conferences in the world. I know there's an embargoed bit and there will be more coming out later, but it just looks like he's like, yeah, same questions, I'll answer that. Yeah, we may get some relevant sort of injury news, but every time he's answering a question now, I'm just like, it just doesn't seem like he's really that. He's not there. He knows he's a man that's gone, and that's how he's coming across to me. Hopefully, he'll get the send-off that he deserves from the players, and the fans will give him the send-off that he deserves from the stands as well when the last games come around. But it's going to be interesting. Last game he gets at Old Trafford is the Chelsea game. Not a nice one. Not a nice one to be dealing with, to be fair. And I just, again, it all seems to be falling down. And that week that we've got coming up with Arsenal away and Liverpool away in the same week, it's like, oh God, can you imagine if that goes wrong that week, which it may well do because of how they're playing and we're not. Then you've got to look at it and go, well, that could be the end of the season right there. I expect it to be honest. What is it? The 19th and 22nd, I think. Something like that. That week of April. So about 3 weeks from now, the season should be pretty much done and dusted. We should know exactly where we're at. We'll know about the top 4 by then, I'm certain. So this is where I went in on it. Rangnick doing these press conferences. Really, we should know, I think, personally, by now, who the next manager should be. The club is saying we're not going to know that until the end of April. And that, to me, makes me think, I know you could say I'm actually looking at this too deep, but look at the dates where it is. The 19th and I think the 22nd, like I just said, is Arsenal away. Liverpool away, Arsenal away within the same week. Guaranteed, if them games go wrong, expect an announcement on our manager not too far after, because they will need something to deflect what has just happened. And I think they're just milking it out right now. I do believe they know who the manager is. They don't want to announce it until it's all gone Pete Tong. I think the timing of it, I think they've actually looked at the fixtures, honestly. I think they're going to need some big announcement just to stem the flow of disappointment coming from the fan base. I think they're hoping that certain situations within the French league and the Eredivisie and the Dutch league have been rectified, because both in title challenging seasons with 2 of our candidates in Pochettino and Ten Hag. So I suspect there will be a bit more light shed on them scenarios in terms of who's going to win them. Obviously, Ten Hag has to say he's fully concentrated. I think it's only 2 points in their title race, so they're going down to the wire, it would seem. Another 3 weeks down the line, maybe the club are hoping that there's a bit more clarity and it's a bit clearer who is going to be champions there. I think we'll know. I think it's French League. League 1 will be over by then with the lead that Paris Saint-Germain have got. So maybe negotiations with their respective clubs, the managers, Pochettino and Ten Hag, will be rectified by then. And then I think we're going to get an announcement. I think that's why they've said the end of April, because I do believe that they're expecting the relevant leagues as Dutch and the French to be all sorted. They want to know with them. There are rumours that Enrique is being talked to as well later on into next week. How that one works, I do not know. I mean, we talked last night with Enrique and sort of having like an advisory sort of role in terms of how he would interact while still having to deal with the Spanish squad, because we know he's going to be managing that team. I just feel like the club don't want that complication, and I think they're just backing their own selves in terms of what they said with process. And the process was, we are going to interview everybody and then we're going to decide. I think Enrique is probably the only one left, and he has shown an interest, so they'll go and speak to him. But ultimately, I do feel like it's still a Poch and Hag race. And that announcement, the end of April, that they've said they're earmarking that sort of date, it's just after the Arsenal and Liverpool week. And I think we'll know where our season's finishing, or what European, if any European trophy. I fully expect it to be Europa League. But let's be fair, if them games do go south, which they could easily do, considering how we're playing at the moment, then I think United will make that call then in terms of the manager, just to sort of stem the flow of hatred and unrest within the fan base, because they're on the edge at the moment. I think it was Gary Neville who said it the other day, didn't he, that the fans are on the edge. They've been on the edge. We've been on the edge for a long, long time, not just recently. Or to be fair, I've said it before, it's worse than the David Moyes season, this, for me. And that is where a lot of the fan base are. They want the manager in place. They want a manager to be announced. Then maybe we'll see something from these players. Maybe the form will pick up. I think Ralph's just been dealt. He's just been dealt the worst hand ever, and it's just coming to the season's just coming to a whimper right now, and it just feels that way. We're excited to be back at Old Trafford tomorrow for the Leicester game, but honestly, I think we'll all know within about 20-25 minutes that sinking sort of feeling, or are these players going to actually pick themselves up and try and finish the season in some sort of flourish, because they need to give something back. It's a long wait to start again with a new manager. and just give us something back. Show us that you actually want to be here next season and play for this team, because there's a lot of players on that pitch who probably will be getting starting positions tomorrow who don't deserve to be there and aren't playing. Let's just get into a few comments here before we finish up. We certainly are the mates. That's it. Let me know if you guys are going to the game as well tomorrow. Obviously, that's my tag there on Instagram. If you want to hit me up there, DM me on there. If you go in, you want to get on and have your say about the season, about the game itself on the fan vlogs after the game. There's a lot to talk about. Vent your frustrations, your angers. Try and spin it in a positive way if you can, if you want to. But other than that, just come on, say hello, have a chat before or after, and we'll break down what has gone wrong this season, because it has been a disaster. I mean, who are you expecting to play tomorrow? I mean, that's one. Starting lineup, what are we saying? Let's say, what? Maguire, Lindelof at the back. Sorry, Maguire, Varane at the back. Unfortunately for Lindelof, he won't be playing. I expect Shaw to come in. I think Shaw will come in. And I think Dalot will keep his place on the right-hand side. Telles, I think, is the one that may miss out in that back line. I think it was Jordan who was saying he would bring Shaw in. It's good international break for Shaw, or I still would have kept Telles in line there as well. But I just think Shaw is going to come back into that team. Midfield, is Fred going to be back and fit? I said this many a times. People always moan, and I didn't agree with it about Matic. I thought Matic is more than capable of playing 2 games a week. Christ, if I can train full throttle and train for marathons at the age of 40, then Matic can play football twice a week. It's not difficult. Do you know what I mean? Especially when you're getting the treatments and the rest. So having 3 or 4 weeks off, Matic should definitely be starting tomorrow for me. Probably alongside McTominay, Pogba, Bruno, whoever it's going to be. I expect Sancho to play definitely. Ronaldo up front, Alanga on the left, Bruno behind them. And then just Pogba even getting the starting lineup. We'll see how bothered Ralph is about Pogba's comments, because he will play him if he isn't bothered. If he's not bothered, if he is bothered about them comments, then we won't see Pogba start. If there's nothing to play for, Pogba, mate, then you might as well just sit your ass on the bench, mightn't you, and see out your career as a Manchester United player, because that is it. Pogba is done with Manchester United after this season. So we'll see how Ralph has taken the Pogba comments. He didn't want to talk about him in his press conference today, but like I said, walking the walk is more important. Will he start him? Will he leave him on the bench? I think that will be the answer to that question, because he wasn't prepared to talk about it. So, yeah. And whether he picks up, like he said there, on Pogba being played in different positions, well, if he's unhappy about playing in different positions, then I can probably see Pogba starting on the bench, because I don't think he's going to get into that central midfield role. I just don't think he trusts him. Like I said before, like the previous 3 other managers did not trust Pogba in that certain position in the middle. I think it's only Deschamps and France that actually played Pogba there. For some reason, there's a voodoo with it with United. But yeah, to sum it all up, guys, round up the press conference. Bruno Fernandes, great news. Ralph is happy about that. Obviously, Pogba didn't even want to touch on it. Maguire is a non-story for Ralph. It's good to hear, to be honest. And then we're looking at injury news again. Edison Cavani. Been a waste of a season for Cavani. And we're looking at it going, wow, another one that Ollie convinced to stay in the summer, like Martial, like Lingard, like Donny van der Beek. Now, where are them players? Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is still lingering around this club, even though he went a few months ago. His problems are still there, and it's going to take one hell of a summer to rectify the mess that he made within this squad. It'll take a lot of work, and hopefully we'll see a positive from it somehow, and we do get the reset that we need. I think no one is kidding themselves. Whatever manager comes in the summer and replaces Ralph, he's up against it, and he's going to need a lot of time. He's going to need money, and he's going to need patience from the fan base. Have we got the patience? It's going past 5 years with no trophy at all, going up to 10 without the league. It's a lot. It's a lot to take as a fan when you're paying fortunes just to go and watch this team fail every single week at the moment. It's hard to take. Have we got the patience for the next man coming in? Guys, it is a shorter press conference video today because there literally was nothing. Will there be something tomorrow after the game? Tomorrow, the road trip will be up, but it's a road trip with a difference. So stay tuned for that one tomorrow. We're mixing it up a little bit. All will be revealed when that drops tomorrow. So stay tuned on United Stand for that one. And we will take it from there, guys. Cheers for tuning in, everybody. Absolutely brilliant. And your comments, I've been looking at them. There isn't much to touch on that we haven't already. The new fresh stuff and talking points will come after the game tomorrow, obviously. I think we all need it. I think we're fed up of everything else that's been going on. We need football to talk about. And we're going to see tomorrow exactly what reaction we get from these players, because they've had 3 weeks of just being abused on social media, in the press. A lot of the players have anyway. So we're going to get the reaction from them. We're going to see if the ones that had good international breaks come back and take that form into Manchester United as well. And it's all coming together tomorrow. Harry Maguire, captain of United, the biggest story of the week, coming back against the team that had our pants down in signing him at Old Trafford. Perfect chance for old Slabhead just to shut the haters up and have a performance. Do it against your old club, the best way to do it probably. Harry, we will see, along with everyone else that I just mentioned there as well. We'll see what happens. But for me, covering Ralph Rangnick, if I don't cover another press conference for Rangnick from now until the end of the season, I just want to say thanks, Ralph. You've been a breath of fresh air. And to be fair to you, you've had to deal with some crap, mate. And well done for that. I was known as the legend killer, the manager killer on these press conferences, because they didn't really last. After I did a press conference, they sort of went the next day. That was Ollie, that was Carrick. But now Ralph has, his time is coming. He's obviously, we all know he's leaving, but I just want to say thank you to him as well. Jamal, new member, welcome to the membership club at United Stand. Drop down in the description below, guys, for all the information on the membership options on the channel as well. That is just below. Give the video a like on your way out, everybody. Cheers for watching. Subscribe to United Stand. Stay tuned for tomorrow's shows. Full day planned tomorrow. It's going to be a late one again with the late kickoff, but the road trip video, the look ahead there, Denmark's watch along, obviously a fan forum, all the fan vlogs after the game. It's going to be a busy, busy day. Good to have football back. Let's hope we see something a bit different on the pitch, though, and it's not as miserable. Guys, I'm out of here. Take it easy.